Well, hey everybody, and welcome back to It's Only Food with Chef John Politte. Today, we're going to show you how to make a fantastic, easy, and delicious black bean soup. You're not going to want to miss this one. Alright, well thanks a lot for joining us today. If this is your first time watching this program, or you just want to learn how to cook and do some things in the kitchen, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button to be subscribed to this channel, and then hit that notification bell to be notified every time we upload new content. So like I said, we're going to be making black bean soup, and we're going to be doing it right over here in the kitchen. And let's head in and see what our ingredients are before we get to the prep work. What I've got here is I've got 1 onion, I've got 1 can of diced tomatoes, 1 30-ounce can of black beans, three ribs of celery, some sweet peppers of different colors, jalapeno pepper, a clove of garlic, 2 bay leaves, and of course our Chef Politte. See right there, that's me back about 10 years ago when I had hair. Wait, I don't have hair in this either. So we're going to be using the chili seasoning and dry smoke rub that I came up with. This is my own brand. It's a great mix for chili, and it's also a good dry rub for when you want to smoke meat. But we'll talk about this more in the show. But we're going to use this because it's got a lot of the ingredients that are in the recipe that we're using for this today. So let's head into the kitchen and start the prep work. What I'm going to do with these peppers, I'm just going to put them into a rough cut. I'm going to leave the seeds in. I'm going to do the same thing with the jalapeno, and I'm going to take the seeds out. On the celery, I'm going to dice it into a kind of a semi-large dice. Remember when you do your celery that you want to keep these leaves in there because this is where all the flavor is. Your stems are just basically a conduit for the water to go up to the flowering leaves, but this is where your flavor is. And then on the onion, I'm just going to dice this up too. And then when we get done with all this, I'll show you what the bowl looks like with all this cut. And then we're going to take it to our pot here, and we'll start sweating out those vegetables and get this soup going. All right, so here is what I cut up. I got the jalapenos. I left the seeds in, like a little bit of heat. Got the peppers in there. I forgot to tell you the garlic. I got the garlic in here kind of in a... And I got the garlic, kind of chopped that up big too. This is like a white mirepoix with some peppers in it. I just want to make them large, rough cut vegetables, because all we're going to do is sweat these out, and they're going to form the foundation for our lovely soup. So I've got our olive oil in here, about a 1/4 cup. Just going to turn this on, let that get hot. Our oil is hot. I'm just going to throw all that in there, and we're just going to let this start sweating out, releasing some of the flavor and the moisture. And then we will add step by step our ingredients. Well, this is smelling fantastic. We see some of the onions are starting to get a little translucent. So I'm going to throw in now 2 bay leaves and about a tablespoon of my seasoning. We might add more later to infuse more flavor. I'm just going to let this sweat a little bit more, and we're going to add the tomatoes. All right, now the house smells fantastic with all the perfume coming out of this pot, but right now our vegetables have sweated down to where I want them. So now I'm going to add some tomatoes and start stewing these vegetables. Let these go for a minute until our next step. Now this is where I'm going to add the chicken stock. I've got about a tablespoon on here. A little bit fell in when I was messing around with the camera, but I am just going to set this in here. I'm going to let this meld into it. I did not put it into water and then pour that in as a stock. There's a reason for that, and I'll tell you here in just a second. Let me just switch out here. Now I just want to take a minute here in between all this cooking in the pot we're doing, but I've added the chicken stock, the seasoning, all the vegetables are in there, and the bay leaves, and I just want to let these flavors all blend and fuse together and make a great perfume and form before I add the beans to it and the water to make the soup part of it. I really want to let these flavors marry, so I'm going to let this go for about another 15 minutes. Just to let that do that, I'm going to do it on a low heat, and we're going to let it stew for about 10 to 15 minutes before we add the water and the beans. All the vegetables are pretty soft now. The onions are translucent. Everything's kind of limp and kind of doesn't have its shape anymore. That means there's been a chemical change in all the food. The flavor has been released. It is at its peak right now that we can add our beans to this now. So I'm just going to dump those beans right in there. Mix this all up. That's just beautiful right now as it is. But I'm going to add some water now to this. And we're going to bring that water to a boil and we'll see what our soup looks like. It's boiling. It's very hot. I'm going to just taste it for some seasoning purposes here. And we're going to let it cook a little more. Flavor's good. I'm just going to add a little bit more salt and pepper. And a little bit more of my seasoning mix. It's got good savoriness. That broth is savory with that chicken stock in there. This is, it's a puree soup. You can take half of this, about 2 cups out of this actually, of the beans, and then you can puree it up and then put it back into the soup. That will help thicken it a little bit. Right now it's kind of loose. It's like almost like a broth soup. But I'm also going to plate it up with some of this rice right here when I go to plate it up. So that will help thicken it up too as well. But we're gonna let this go. I'm gonna turn this back up a little bit, get it back to a boil, and let it reduce just a little bit more before we plate it up. Got a lot of noise going on in this whole house. We got the boiling soup going. I've got our rice cooking over here, and then I got our plating ready to go. So we're gonna let this boil down, reduce a little more. Y'all know the drill. We're gonna plate this up. Then I'm gonna take a bunch of pictures of it for social media. I am going to get some groovy music, put on that timeline, and then we're gonna show you what it looks like and taste it, and then we're gonna say goodbye. So don't go anywhere. Smells and looks fantastic. I got a little bit of the rice in there to help with absorbing some of the liquid here. It's very hot right now, but I am going to taste this. All right, well this, like I said, it smells fantastic. Here's what it looks like up there. Wonderful aroma, very colorful. Smells good. Got the rice in there. I'll take a little bite here. It's very hot. This is very, very good. You can taste the peppers and the onions and the tomato in there. Makes it a very good savory broth. And that rice just gives it a little bit of bite too. You can add chicken to this, ground beef if you want. You can also add any topping you want, sour cream, avocado, some hot sauce. I just threw some cilantro on there for some color and also a little bit more flavor. So don't forget, down in the description box, I'm leaving several links. One of them is to itsonlyfood.biz and my Etsy shop, which has this wonderful seasoning, and all the others that I've got. Our best sellers are the steak and chop, and also our garlic butter seasoning that goes along with this too, but we have 12 there, so check that out. And if you do have a YouTube cooking channel, it doesn't have to be cooking, but if you do have a YouTube cooking channel, then go ahead and hit that link for TubeBuddy, and that will give you a toolbox full of things that will help your show immensely. Also check out all the affiliates that I have, the Amazon affiliate links that I have down in that description box as well, That's all the equipment that I use, and I got some great deals on Amazon to help your show as well. All right, well, don't forget to subscribe to this show and this channel if you have not done so. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button to like this show. Go ahead and leave a comment below. Let us know what you think about It's Only Food and what you'd like to see us do next. And then by all means, share this channel and this show with everyone you know. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you again right here on It's Only Food. Take care. Bye-bye.